Nvidia, there's another big name, handily topping earnings estimates for the third quarter, reporting an eye-watering 94% revenue increase year over year. Data center revenue also came up 112% year over year as Nvidia continues raking in profits from hyperscalers. Investors are wondering how long the growth will continue, with questions around Blackwell chips still hanging over Nvidia. For more, we're bringing in Patrick Moorhead, founder, CEO, and chief analyst at More Insights and Strategy. Patrick, always great to have you on the show. So listen, it's the first time we've had the chance to catch up since that Nvidia print, Patrick. You know, I was talking to Julie at the top of the show. I think if you run hot into a print up 190% year to date, the next day, if you tack on another 1.5% on top of that, Patrick, to me, that you're in the shares, that's a win. But how did you see this print, Patrick? Give us your take.
I mean, across every single number you can look at, it was a win. I mean, had a triple beat. But the challenge with this and the opportunity is investors want more. Right. And as we can see, the ebbs and the flows throughout the day and the after hours, they were looking for an absolute knockout blow. Now, when you combine that with some of the questions about Blackwell availability, these rumored heating issues, looking at the gross margins, that just kind of added to the uncertainty. But I mean, it was a beautiful print any way that you shape it.
Patrick, you understand these issues really well. So help our viewers understand, where are the sort of pain points? Where is the tension in making enough of these Blackwell chips to get out the door and meet the demand?
Yeah, so NVIDIA's largest supplier, right? There's wafers and there's packaging. Okay. Wafers are the chips or end up becoming the chips, and then you have to put them in a package to do what they do. And TSMC is maxed out on the amount of wafers that they can produce on their leading edge. And they have a monthly report where they have consistently said, we are sold out, we are adding capacity, but it takes years to add more capacity. A different type of capacity challenge has come out over the last 2 years, and that is in these packages. And for those who are following along, it's called CoWoS, which is a special type of package. And you have to build entire factories just to do the packaging. So the wafer has to connect with the packaging to ultimately get the cards out and to get those racks out. As we've seen in chip world, it takes years. You had to have had invested years before to make sure that you are ready for today.
Let me ask you about, so that's the supply side. On the demand side, I want to get your thoughts as well. Big tech is spending. How long do you see that continuing, Patrick? You know, is it 12 months? Is it 18 months? What's the timeline? And what happens after that?
So I have confidence that for the next 18 months, the likes of Meta, Amazon, Google, and Microsoft, and the tier 2 cloud service providers will continue to gobble these up. And the primary reason is the fear of missing out. Every one of these companies is afraid of missing out, but they also see on the plus side the opportunity, maybe the opportunity to apply copilots to enterprise SaaS, which potentially impacts these enterprise software companies, the ability for consumer companies to be able to either lock in the lead that they have or make more money on advanced services. And until investors start crying foul on CapEx, and I don't think that's going to happen until one of these hyperscalers starts to have profitability challenges, this is going to go on for at least 18 months. Interesting conversation I had with NVIDIA CFO Colette Kress. I asked her, well, how long does this go? And this was not just the hyperscalers, but, and I'm paraphrasing, this could go on for a decade. And thought she had a good example. She talked about client server, right? That was the big wave after mainframe and mini computers that literally lasted for 10 years.
What about the opportunity, though, that, or I guess the risk for Nvidia, that some of these other companies are going to step into the breach here? Now, I know you just talked about how complicated and how long the lead times are to even, build this stuff in the first place.
Right.
But the longer it takes to get Blackwell chips out the door, surely that risk must increase.
So it does, but with all the wafers taken, and for what it's worth, it's not just Nvidia who has these wafers. They're in competition with Apple, Qualcomm, AMD, even companies like Google and Amazon and Microsoft who have their own AI inference accelerators. And every time we talk about, I look at the competitive environment. Nvidia on a percentage basis will lose market share to the likes of AMD, Intel, and even the hyperscalers in-house pieces of silicon. Now I'm going to asterisk with that and say, even if they lose percentage market share, they still have a tremendous amount of upside growth. What I know for certain is no industry is comfortable with any vendor having 95% market share of anything over an extended period of time, and that will change.
Patrick, get you out of here on this. Incoming Trump administration, Patrick, what do you see there? Is that a potential impact for Nvidia and possible impact for just the broader semi space you know so well?
Yeah, so a lot of people don't know this, but the first Trump administration kicked off a project which led to the CHIPS Act, which the Biden administration got over the line. We still haven't written the checks yet, which is an issue that continues. But I think with all the bluster that Trump has put out there, if I look at his first administration, he was saying the same things. But in the end, it's all about a negotiation and getting the United States a better deal. I do believe that both TSMC and Samsung will need to invest more of their own money into the United States to be able to build more factories. Otherwise, I could see tariffs down the line, which would negatively impact pretty much all of tech.
Patrick, always great to have you on the show. Thank you, sir.
Thank you.